Hello, everybody. Dave Neal here, stand-up comic host of Bachelor Nation News, and we have a rumor on who the next Bachelor may be. It is not this pixelated person. We're going to share that with you guys. I'm going to give you about 60 seconds before I release the rumor, so if you want to click away, make sure you do that now, and then I'm going to share the rumor. Follow me on Instagram at DNeals, and I'm going live on Patreon right after this at 10 a.m. Pacific time. So in the meantime, we are giving away, we're trying to get different teachers across the country get their Amazon wish list fulfilled. Of course, here are some photos of teachers that you guys have been so nice to donate to. And today's featured teacher is Miss Amanda, teaching kindergarten in Idaho, and of course, underfunded school districts, just trying to get some books for her class. So if you think you can donate an $8 book, a $16 book, or even a $7 book, if you hit the add to cart, and it'll show you her address, and you can send it directly to teachers in need. I've got about 6 or 7 or 8 lined up. So every day we'll have a different featured teacher. So we're going to get into it. The spoiler for who the next Bachelor may be is Nate. It might be Nate. Now, people are wondering, again, I don't want to relitigate the whole story about Nate. He has obviously not been accused of any crimes. If anything, just love bombing, maybe being into multiple women at the same time, not defining their relationship while possibly leading them on. Of course, these receipts have been shared. Here's what Nate said on the Men Tell All, and then I'll share what Reality Steve has to say about why he believes Nate is in the running, a serious contender to be the next Bachelor. On Nate's hot seat, they asked him about the accusations from former women. He got emotional on stage. He said his divorce was very messy, and his number one goal was always to protect his daughter in any relationship. He did say he could have been better at communicating with them. He was still feeling his way into the dating scene. He wants to do better and apologize, but he never says exclusivity conversations took place with either of them. And then, of course, Reality Steve says, well, that's a he said, she said on the part, because Kelsey said they absolutely had that conversation. And the I'm protecting my daughter line isn't what anyone is really questioning him about. They would insinuate introducing her to anyone you're dating. And at no point has anyone said Nate's behavior was shitty because he didn't introduce his daughter to Kelsey. He's completely missing the point. So anyway, he will address it on the Men Tell All. And here's what Reality Steve had to say today regarding Nate. So this is a big week in that I think we can all expect Nate is going to hit the podcast circuit protected by the show. Got a video of him and his daughter at Disneyland from this past Friday with a tour guide. And while not being definitive proof of anything, that's definitely something that's reserved for the next lead in this franchise, especially with his daughter and getting the tour. You couple that with last night's edit, Fleiss having his Twitter diarrhea last week defending Nate every chance he could, which in turn meant acknowledging something Reality Steve, posted. Let's just say Nate is definitely at the forefront of their mind for The Bachelor, if not at the top of their list. Will he get it? Don't know. We're still weeks away from that announcement happening. And we know they tell multiple people they've got it and have multiple people sign the contract, so to keep it secret until they release it. It's the only spoiler they've been able to keep somewhat quiet over the years. Some I've been able to spoil ahead of time, some not. It's hit and miss. But if you ask me right now, I'd say it's going to be Nate. They don't care about the Kelsey and Larry story. It means nothing to them. It's why they acknowledged it last week and immediately went on the defensive. Obviously, anything can happen, and they've definitely changed last minute in the past before. But if you ask me now, on August 16th, I think it's going to be Nate based on all the factors above. We'll see what happens. Go to realitysteve.com if you want to check out his daily podcast. He's got a lot of the up-to-date info on what's going down, obviously, with that story. Of course, Mike Fleiss had posted this as soon as Reality Steve's piece came out last week. He said, don't jump to conclusions about certain cast members based on mere allegations, as disturbing as they may be. I beg you to wait until all the facts come out before making any judgments. To which Reality Steve responded with the textbook definition of allegations, and it wasn't allegations because it had evidence. There were time-stamped receipts, multiple confirmed people, and all that. The question becomes more likely this: can someone like Nate do a good job as the Bachelor with a recent past where he was probably love bombing multiple people and not necessarily living in a completely defined relationship, but maybe going as far to the edge as he could with all that. So the question is, can he still be a good Bachelor? I think he can. I've always believed that people can learn from their mistakes, and if those mistakes were made because he thought he could get away with dating around because he felt scorned by an ex. I mean, look, this is what happens, right? We transfer our trauma from one thing to the other. So So Kelsey and Larry, they probably got love bombed by him. They kind of got two-timed in a way. They both thought they were at least the one he was pursuing. And maybe that's trauma that he passed down from whatever went down in his relationship. And God knows the human centipede goes on and on and on. Not making excuses. Dave, why are you making excuses? But just making explanations. So, is the Nate we watched on TV closer to the real Nate than the Nate who's two-timing a bunch of women? Probably somewhere in between, probably leaning on trying his best, probably leaning on compassionate, nice guy. He obviously handled the breakup with Gabby very well. The question just becomes, if he was just a year ago still recovering from a messy divorce, how is he today? Is he okay commitment-wise today? First of all, who the hell am I to judge if he is or isn't? But of course, that's what the audience will do. So he also, and these are just things that have been going on. People saw the likes for his Twitter, and they didn't like that he was following some relatively far-right Twitter voices. You guys might think that's okay or not okay. The question is, it's really not about what we think. It's really about whether or not the show thinks he'll do well as the lead role, which isn't always about just being ready for love. It's about entertainment and drama and all that jazz. So, someone just asked this: why the Nate hate? If he was hiding his child from women he was with, that is his choice. If someone isn't comfortable sharing that part of their life, it's a personal choice. Maybe those relationships weren't what he was looking for in a long-term thing. He was younger then, not looking for a wife. Maybe he was with someone in the past who his daughter became attached to and didn't want to hurt her. We don't fully know why. Why destroy the man on the sub when you don't know the full details of his past? I think the guy is a sweetheart. Look at how he handled things with Gabby throughout the entire process. Someone less emotionally stable, could be upset with Gabby for leading him on the whole time when she knew she wasn't ready to be a mother. He made sure Gabby wasn't too upset, still looking after her through his own pain. I'm just a husband of a Bachelor superfan, and I like to make my jokes about the show, but damn, this is a spicy sub. Now look, the hate for Nate wasn't necessarily because he didn't introduce his daughter to the woman he was seeing for a year and a half. It was that she didn't even know he had a daughter. And of course, that's half on him and half on her, but that might sound like victim blaming, but I guess this is a note for everybody. If you're dating someone for a year and a half and you've never been to their house, where apparently his daughter does have a room, so it's not like he was like an absentee father, and of course you never heard of the daughter because she was with, no, none of that. Apparently she never made it close enough to him to be at his house, which would be a red flag in the first place. But of course, that's what we learn in life. We learn about red flags because we get burned. I have all the time with my employment. I was telling one of our friends, Teresa, who came to my stand-up show, how 10 years into stand-up comedy clubs are always finding new ways to F you. They are. And, just when you think you figured it all out, you go, oh, they got me again. And that's kind of like red flags. You think you know a lot about somebody, or you think you know a lot about the human dynamic of relationships, and you go, oh my gosh, I can't believe I was so stupid to go to somebody's friend's wedding and not ever be invited to their house and not realize they have their own family or own kid or whatever it may be. So look, again, and people might look at my channel in a certain way, or, oh, Dave, you've got this sort of Nate hate. I have no Nate hate. There's no Nate hate. Tell your story. Go on podcasts, be open, be honest, talk about how messy it was, talk about why you did what you did. Just don't skirt the issue. Lay it all out there, man. We're all mess. You know what I mean? Lay it all out there, and good luck moving forward. Let me know what you guys think about this Bachelor rumor. We'll see you guys in a little bit. Instagram @DNeals, patreon.com/Dave Neal. I'm going live right now. Bye, guys.